With me now is William Buist. William's written a very fascinating little book called At Your Fingertips, a guide to successful online business networking. William, welcome. Thank you for coming on the show. So, amazing little book. There's so much talk about online networking and social media. What's it all about?
Well, there's an awful lot happening, you're right, and there's a lot of opportunities for people to meet online, meet in inverted commas probably, and engage with each other, learn about what you're doing, what your interests are, what your business is about, what products and services you have, if you're doing that for business. Social media, in the widest sense, covers more things than just networking. It's also about marketing, about advertising, about using some of the tools that are engaging with wider groups of people to tell them about things that are going on in the world. So news as well, things like that. But I've really focused on the networking side of things and how to meet people, get to know them, understand their business so that you can source suppliers, find customers and build teams of people to help you in your own business. Because
networking is your real expertise, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You're a bit of a hot networker,
well,
I hear.
So they say.
So who should be networking online then?
I think anybody who's looking for growing their business, if they've got their own business, so certainly business owners, and people who are working in businesses that are providing services to other businesses or to consumers who want to get that message out to as wide an audience as possible, to get new customers and to find suppliers. So pretty much anybody who's in business in one form or another.
Sure. So I liked your chapter in here, particularly on asking better questions. Can you give our viewers some examples of what better questions might be?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think when people meet each other, one of the things that comes up is they quite often say, you know, what do you do? And it's not a great question because it tends to lead to quite closed answers. People say things, they just describe what they do. So they'll say they're an accountant or they're a banker or they're an insurance man, and it kind of doesn't lead anywhere. But if you ask somebody what their expertise is, there's two things that happen. The first is that they kind of stop because it's not a question they get asked normally, and they have to think. So the answer's not automatic, and that gives you a lot of insight into what they're thinking and how they describe what they're doing. And that, by asking questions that encourage more conversation rather than close it down, you learn more about each other, and that helps build the relationship, which is one of the things that networking's all about. And that's why it's important.
That's great. Are there any other particular tips you've got in here? I know you're going to do a reading for us in a minute, but any other hot tips that you would give our viewers on networking?
Well, I think certainly online, and that's what this book focuses on, is how you can network online. There are now thousands of sites where you can engage with other people, literally thousands of them all over the world. So the first thing really is to take your time to find the sites that meet the niche that you're in, where the people you want to talk to are already there, and where your message is going to be well received and understood by the people who are already in that network. That means spending a bit of time just looking at the opportunities and the different places that are around. That's tip one in the book. Take your time to look around all of the networks and find the right ones for you. Absolutely.
Thank you very much, William. Look forward to reading more of this little book, and I look forward to hearing you read a little bit from it in a moment.
Thank you, Tina. I'm going to read you a bit of tip 9, learn from everything, and this is a section called Be Bold. So not only must we learn from everything, but we must be bold. We must do things that have not been done before. We must try new ways to approach the markets we seek to approach, new ways to interact with others, new ways to build relationships and leverage the time and effort that we spend within a social network to initiate those relationships and to develop them online. We must present ourselves in an ever-changing world in an ever-changing way. Being bold means making mistakes. Being bold means allowing others to point up the flaws they see in us and accepting that challenge as great feedback intended only to help us improve. Being bold is painful and joyful. Being bold is not courageous, but it requires courage. When we learn from others, we avoid some of the pain that we might feel if we'd had to learn everything ourselves. But we must be careful to ensure that our learning is accurate, and sometimes we need to test those things that fail in order to understand the reasons why they fail. Again, we need to be bold sometimes to do again what didn't work before in order to understand why it didn't work, and perhaps sometimes to find out that for us it does work. Social networks provide us with a unique feature, something that hasn't existed in business terms before: an instant connection with our customers, our suppliers, our associates, our friends and our critics. It provides us with an openness that ensures that our mistakes are just as visible as our successes, but it also allows us to be challenged by those around us to raise our game before the damage is too great. There can be no better way to build a business than to build it with the support and help of our friends, colleagues, advocates and associates. Social networks reward those who learn by providing even more support from those who see the learning taking place. Being vulnerable, perhaps that's an expression that really means being bold, attracts people towards you rather than repelling them.
Great advice there from William. Be bold. Remember, all of our author interviews and the advice from our experts is available after the show on the website thebookchannel.tv. After the break, we'll be hearing from today's expert, the book midwife.